Just 4 days after the legendary Dick Van Dyke reached the incredible milestone of 98 years, the world celebrated a man synonymous with joy. He gifted millions unforgettable moments in classics like Mary Poppins, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, and his own groundbreaking show. With that infectious grin and seemingly endless energy, he became a symbol of pure happiness for generations. But beneath the dazzling surface and the captivating charm, Dick Van Dyke has navigated a hidden landscape of personal battles, profound heartbreak, terrifying health scares, and struggles few knew about. And now, as he looks towards a monumental 99th birthday, he has shared reflections and faced recent events that have left those who adore him feeling a deep, raw, emotional weight. This is the story of the man behind the legend, a journey through laughter and shadows, resilience and vulnerability, culminating in emotional news that has touched hearts worldwide. Born Richard Wayne Van Dyke in West Plains, Missouri, on December 13, 1925, he wasn't destined for fame from birth. He grew up in Danville, Illinois, a truly regular place. His mother worked as a stenographer, his father a salesman. Dick wasn't the only child. He had a younger brother, Jerry, who later followed him into acting, even playing his sibling on screen. Their connection ran deep. While the Van Dyke name has Dutch roots, his family tree was a mix, even linking back to a passenger on the famed Mayflower. In high school, he discovered his passion in the choir and drama club, feeling the undeniable pull of performing, though at one point he actually considered becoming a minister. Right before graduation, he made a bold choice, leaving school early to join the U.S. Army Air Forces during World War II. He aimed to be a pilot but was repeatedly turned away for being underweight. Yet, he didn't give up, eventually being accepted not to fly, but to serve as a radio announcer. He later entertained troops, serving until 1946 before finally earning his high school diploma years later. This unexpected path in the military's entertainment division would subtly guide him toward a career he might not have imagined. After the war, Hollywood wasn't his immediate destination. The late 1940s found Dick working as a radio DJ in Danville, his voice and natural humor starting to gain local notice. This seemingly simple job opened doors. In 1947, he teamed up with Phil Erickson, a mime performer, to create a unique comedy act called Eric and Van, the Merry Mutes. They performed silently, using mime and lip-syncing, touring nightclubs before landing their own local TV show in Atlanta. His early television days continued in New Orleans, where he worked as a solo comedian and hosted a comedy show. He made his national TV debut in 1954 and began appearing on various popular shows, steadily climbing the ladder. An old friend from his Army days, now at CBS, played a crucial role, helping Dick secure a 7-year contract. During this contract, in a twist few remember, the man known for physical comedy and singing actually worked as a news anchor on the CBS morning show, sharing the desk with none other than the legendary Walter Cronkite as the newsreader. It's almost hard to picture the joyful entertainer delivering the morning headlines, a testament to his early versatility before finding his true calling. That true calling led him to Broadway in 1959, though his first show was short-lived. The Rio Lightning struck with Bye Bye Birdie in 1960. Playing the lead role of Albert Peterson, Dick became a Broadway hit, winning a Tony Award in 1961. Critics praised his likability, a word that would stick with him throughout his career. His stage success paved the way for the film adaptation in 1963, where he reprised his role. While he reportedly wasn't thrilled the movie shifted focus from his character, his performance was lauded, setting the stage for something even bigger. The era of television was exploding, and Dick Van Dyke was about to become a household name across America in a way Broadway and film hadn't yet fully achieved. From 1961 to 1966, the Dick Van Dyke Show cemented his status as a TV legend. Playing comedy writer Rob Petrie, who juggled work and family life, he captured the nation's heart, earning 3 Primetime Emmy Awards for lead actor. His effortless charm, pitch-perfect comedic timing, and famous physical humor made him unforgettable. He remained a TV fixture for decades, returning in shows like The New Dick Van Dyke Show and the long-running Diagnosis, Murder. But his impact wasn't limited to the small screen. In 1964, he took on the iconic role of Bert, the lovable chimney. Sweep in Disney's Mary Poppins. While his attempt at a British accent became famously joked about, his pure joy and energy in the role were undeniable, earning him a Golden Globe nomination. He starred in other beloved films like Chitty Chitty Bang Bang and even made memorable appearances in later years, including Dick Tracy, Night at the Museum, and a poignant return in Mary Poppins Returns at the age of 93. Through every character, he brought light and laughter, making us smile when we needed it most. But while his professional life shone brightly, it often masked a much more complicated and sometimes dark personal reality. Dick Van Dyke's personal life, often shielded from the public eye, was a mix of deep connection and significant pain. In 1948, he married Marjorie Willett in an unusual ceremony broadcast live on the radio show Bride and Groom. They had 4 children, but after many years and a long separation, they divorced in 1984. By then, Dick had been in a long-term relationship with Michelle Triola Marvin, which began in 1976 and lasted over 3 decades until her passing in 2009. However, this relationship wasn't without its emotional cost. Dick later spoke with raw honesty about the guilt he carried, admitting their affair played a role in the end of his first marriage. He once described the feeling as being in such turmoil, he felt like he was writhing inside. Even after this heartbreak and loss, love found him again. In 2012, at 86, he married makeup artist Arlene Silver, 46 years his junior. Their bond brought a new kind of happiness to his life, proving love can appear at any age. Family remained incredibly important. His son and grandsons even appeared, with him on Diagnosis, Murder. But life also dealt him a devastating blow. In 1987, his granddaughter Jessica tragically died from Reye syndrome, a serious childhood illness. The loss deeply affected him, driving him to use his fame to raise awareness, filming public service announcements warning parents about giving aspirin to children, turning his personal grief into a powerful tool for public good. Yet, these were not the only quiet battles he fought. Behind the public persona of the ever-smiling, dancing entertainer, Dick Van Dyke wrestled with a profound personal struggle that remained hidden for years. In the 1960s and 70s, when celebrity, private lives were less scrutinized, he silently battled alcoholism. He later shared the surprising origin of his dependence, a deep-seated shyness around strangers. He found that having a drink would loosen him up, but what began as a social crutch spiraled into a serious problem. He revealed in 2016 that he was an alcoholic for a staggering 25 years, acknowledging the inevitable impact this had on his family life during those difficult decades. A moment of stark realization came when he recognized he was repeating the same destructive pattern he had witnessed in his own father, whose frequent drunkenness had nearly cost him his marriage. Seeing that history repeat itself spurred Dick to seek help. In 1972, he checked into a hospital for 3 weeks of treatment. Since then, he has maintained his sobriety, stating by 2013 he had been sober for nearly 30 years. His bravery in speaking openly about his addiction later inspired many others. A rehab center in New York is even named the Dick Van Dyke Treatment Center in his honor. His honesty became a beacon of hope, but his health challenges were far from over. Just as he found freedom from addiction, Dick Van Dyke began facing a bizarre and frustrating new health mystery in his later years. It started with a persistent, pounding sensation in his head, like a heartbeat or pulse, occurring whenever he lay down. This debilitating issue went on for a staggering 7 years, and doctors were completely stumped. Despite numerous tests, MRIs, CAT scans, spinal taps. Everything came back normal, yet the pain continued. In 2013, he took an unusual step, reaching out directly to his fans on Twitter, tweeting, "My head bangs every time I lay down. Anybody got any ideas?" The outpouring of support and shared experiences from fans was immense. The pounding was so severe it forced him to cancel appearances and was reportedly told not to fly, significantly impacting his sleep and energy. Finally, in May 2013, he tweeted again, believing he had found the source. He stated his belief that his titanium dental implants were the cause of the pounding. While it seemed like a strange connection, he finally had a potential answer after years of searching. Living with that mystery took a toll, but he kept going, always managing to find that smile. However, health scares weren't limited to mysterious ailments. Dick Van Dyke has survived more than one terrifying brush with DMN. In 2013, at 87, he faced a harrowing moment when his Jaguar caught fire on a Los Angeles freeway. A passerby heroically pulled him from the burning vehicle just in time. Then, more recently in 2023, he was involved in a serious car crash in Malibu, losing control in wet weather and slamming into a gate. With his characteristic dark humor, he later joked about being sore all over, and that since the airbag didn't deploy, he just did a faceplant right into the steering wheel, quipping, "It just made me a little dumber." These terrifying incidents led many to question if he should still be driving, yet they also highlight his remarkable resilience and, perhaps, sheer luck. Despite these close calls and ongoing health issues, Dick Van Dyke has consistently defied expectations, continuing to perform well into his 90s, demonstrating a spirit that refuses to surrender to age. Even as he approached 100, Dick Van Dyke refused to slow down. At 93, his surprise dance scene in Mary Poppins Returns left audiences and the cast stunned, proving his physical energy was still very much alive. In February 2023, his heartwarming appearance as the gnome on The Masked Singer at 97 touched hearts globally, reminding everyone of the pure joy he embodies. His simple secret for staying active? Going to the gym 3 days a week, a routine he credits with helping him maintain his physical condition alongside his wife, Arlene. He continued to work and receive honors, making history in June 2024 as the oldest daytime Emmy winner for his role on Days of Our Lives. But despite these moments of triumph, the reality of advanced age has inevitably begun to show. In recent months, public appearances have become less frequent, and photographs have captured him looking visibly frailer, relying on a cane. Then came a moment that spoke volumes about his vulnerability. In September 2024, when asked about his upcoming 99th birthday, Dick reportedly replied softly, "Just praying that I make it," adding with a laugh, "I'm very old." While delivered with his typical humor, the words carried the heavy weight of acknowledging his own mortality, a raw and honest statement that resonated deeply with fans who have watched him for decades. This stark reality contrasted poignantly with his long-held desire to work until I drop. But 2023 would throw one more dramatic trial his way. As his 99th birthday approached in December 2023, a terrifying new challenge emerged. Dick and Arlene were forced to make a sudden, frantic evacuation from their Malibu home due to the dangerous Franklin fire. The wildfire spread rapidly, threatening their neighborhood. They evacuated safely with most of their pets, but in the chaos, one of their beloved cats, Bobo, went missing. Dick shared the heartbreaking news online, expressing deep worry and praying for Bobo's safety amidst the devastation. Miraculously, upon returning home after the fire passed, Bobo was found, unharmed. While their home was spared, unlike some nearby, the experience was deeply traumatic. Dick described feeling completely exhausted, having to be physically carried to the car by neighbors who later returned to extinguish a small fire that had started in his guest house. Arlene shared the challenges of coping with the aftermath, including a power outage, highlighting the constant care needed to keep Dick comfortable. Despite the trauma, they made it clear they plan to stay in Malibu, where Dick feels most at home. An insider noted his resilience, saying he's stronger than people know. Even admitting these have been rough months, yet his will to move forward remains unbroken. Even after the fire, the canceled events, and the visible signs of age, he continues to push himself, exercising 3 days a week, and is reportedly even working on a new movie, Capture the Flag. Dick Van Dyke has always articulated his wish for his legacy, to be remembered for making people laugh for 75 years. It's a wish that has undeniably come true, touching generations across the globe. Even now, after navigating alcoholism, enduring devastating personal loss, surviving baffling health crises and near-fatal accidents, and facing the physical challenges of extreme age and terrifying natural disaster, he continues to bring joy. His recent appearances, including a surprise in a Coldplay music video, are testaments to an enduring spirit. He credits exercise and humor for keeping him young, reflecting, with characteristic humility and humor on his longevity. "I'm 98. I have almost all my marbles. I just can't remember what I had for breakfast." This simple honesty, woven throughout his life, makes him even more beloved. Dick Van Dyke's story is far richer and more complex than the cheerful characters he played. It's a story of resilience. In the face of addiction, strength through loss, survival against the odds, and profound honesty about the realities of aging. As he steps towards his 100th year, he does so not just as a legend of entertainment, but as a powerful example of enduring hope, humor, and heart, leaving us all to ponder the true depth of the man behind the never-fading smile. What's your most cherished memory of Dick Van Dyke? Was it a specific movie scene, a moment from his show, or perhaps something else entirely? Share your thoughts and favorite moments in the comments below. And if you were touched by his story, please like this video, subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into the lives of Hollywood icons, and stay tuned for our next journey into the fascinating history of entertainment. See you next time.